Hello, everyone, and welcome to this month's Teacher Talks. Thank you so much to everyone who's already introducing themselves in the chat. It's so great to see everyone as far away from Australia to Spain, Bosnia, Singapore. It's so exciting to see a truly international event with everyone. So just to introduce myself, my name is Alex Orpin. If I've not met you before, just so you know, I am from the UK. I moved to Spain about 6 years ago as a teacher. I was teaching English as a foreign language, and I use Kahoot products so much. I ended up working at the Kahoot office here in Barcelona. So we have a great session lined up for you all today with four speakers from our educator community, which is fantastic. So let's see the agenda for today. So, as you know, Teacher Talks, we usually follow the learning experience. So we focus on a new section every month at these live sessions. So like, for example, things like memorable review, which was last month. If you've never been before, don't worry. So this month, this is kind of the end of our academic cycle. We'll take a short break over the summer, in which case today we're just going to talk about the learning experience in general. How do you get the best experience for your students, young and old, in the classroom, whether distance learning or not? How do you create the best learning environment for them? So in order to do that, there's going to be a few features we're going to focus on this month. So we're talking about Kahoot AI tools, because we have lots of different ones, Kahootopia leagues, and our brand new accuracy mode. So for those of you who may not know, last week was Teacher Appreciation Week in the US. So we wanted to give a gift to all our wonderful educators, and that is why we introduced accuracy mode. This is free for all users, regardless of your subscription. And we created this based on teacher feedback because a lot of you were saying you wanted to reward students solely for their correct answers rather than getting extra points for being the fastest and answering quickly. You wanted something else. So we have created that mode for you, and my colleague will talk a bit more about that. So with our jam-packed session today, first, we're going to have Pekka, a former math and science teacher from Finland, who's now the pedagogy expert and research expert here at Kahoot. Then we're going to have two speakers from the same university in South Africa, Kurt and Simone. And so they're going to give you the perspective of how Kahoot can be used to enhance the learning for higher ed students. And then finally, Liang from Singapore is going to give you the school perspective of using Kahoot as a student and also for teaching others. So yeah, we're going to have a range today, trying to encapsulate the range from all of you guys coming, because I know that some of you teach young kids, older kids, adults. So we want to give you the full experience today. So if you've never been to any of these sessions before, a couple of things. All the sessions are recorded. So if you need to pop out for a second for work or anything, don't worry, I won't be offended. We will send you the link to the recording after the webinar. So any bits you've missed, you can watch it. Also, all participants will receive a certificate of attendance. So I know for some of you, you might have an administration section at your institution where you can use the certificate as professional development credit. So the certificate will be provided for you. And we have a fantastic session of members from Kahoot today. So we've got Lavinia and Mana. They're going to be answering your questions. So for me, I'm on a desktop computer, and at the bottom of my screen, next to some of the buttons, there's a little box with a question mark that says Q&A. If you click that button, you can ask a question. Everyone will see it, and Mana and Lavinia will do their best to answer it. So the chat is a great function for chatting with the other participants, commenting in general, like, oh, that's interesting. But if you've got specific questions, put it in the Q&A box. Oh, I see that some people are already using it. Fantastic. So everyone can see it. Great. So I think we should make a start. So Let's hand over to Pekka, who's going to talk about the Kahootopia leagues and the accuracy mode that I mentioned. Pekka, welcome.
Thank you, Alex. And hello, everyone. Really excited to be here and tell you a few new features that we have, the accuracy mode, what Alex just mentioned. And then I'm going to show you also something from Kahootopia and Kahootopia leagues. But yeah, I'm Pekka. I'm located in Finland. And as Alex said, I'm a former math and physics teacher also myself. But yeah, first I will share my screen so you will all see. So we are going to have a live demo right now of the accuracy mode. So now we are on my Kahoot platform. You can see here a banner, Celebrate Teacher Appreciation with exclusive rewards in Kahootopia. We are going to check those right now. So from here, from the menu, I'm gonna open my Kahootopia islands, and I'm gonna select this my level 3 island. So I've been already playing some Kahoots, and I have some rewards here. So if you don't know what Kahootopia is, it is an island that grows when you are playing Kahoot with your students. And this is for the whole group, the whole class to celebrate the achievements together. And we are going to have a live demo right now, so you also see how this evolves. But first, I'm going to talk to you a bit about Kahoot leagues. So Kahoot leagues is somewhere where you can have a friendly competition with other islands all around the world. So currently I am in a silver league, and I see that I'm on the 6th place, my island, with 1,000 a bit more points. And today we are going to get more points to get higher on this league. But yeah, this is for friendly competition. Then the achievements. So in Kahootopia, you are rewarded with different achievements based on what type of Kahoots you are playing or how well your students are answering. And this month we are having like 2 extra rewards for celebrating teachers. We have an accuracy seeker reward that can be had after played an accuracy mode Kahoot. And we are going to play an accuracy mode Kahoot together really soon, so you also see how it works. And also, let's try to get this thank you reward. To get it, we need to, like all of you who are participating in Kahoot, you will need to have a thanks sticker on your character. Let's check it out really soon. So these are the rewards that we try to get together. So I'm gonna start a Kahoot. We are going to play an accuracy mode, and I have a prepared Kahoot for you for this session. So if you have a device, just go to kahoot.it and type the game pin, or here's a QR code for you to log in, and let's start really soon. And now, when we are, or while we are waiting the other participants to join, please edit your character. So edit your characters, choose the accessories, and then scroll down to find a thanks sticker among the accessories. For me, it's quite down when scrolling down. And I actually see that some of the characters here already have this thanks sticker. So let's try all of you to find from the accessories the thanks sticker, because that is needed for us to get the thank you reward. Well, I think it might be a bit hard for all of you to find it, but let's try as many as possible. Okay, we have already 260 participants. Let's wait 10 more seconds and then we start this accuracy mode Kahoot. And what accuracy mode is, it is a mode where the speed is not the basis of the points. So everyone who answers the right answer will get the same amount of points. So you don't need to rush, think your time, and you are all granted the same amount of points if you answer correctly. So no need to rush speed. Okay, we hit the 300 participants mark. So let's start, and if you want to join later, just use this game pin and you are able to join also later. So this is a small tutorial about the accuracy mode. So gather together for test accuracy with no bonus points for speeds. And for being able to get on the podium, try to answer correctly as many answers as possible. And we will start with the drop pin question. And I'm asking, where are you located? So this is not giving any points or right answers, but let's first check from where you all are from, or where you are located. So move the map around your device and then place the pin to the place where you are from. Okay, well, we'll see that we are from all over the globe participating in this webinar. This is great. So next question, what is Kahootopia Leagues? I just give you some hints. Is it a feature that lets students create their own Kahoots for homework? Or is it a pedagogical training program for Kahoot users? Or a friendly competition between islands around the world? Or is it a leaderboard system used only in classroom settings? 5 more seconds, time to answer. And yeah, most of you got it right. It is a friendly competition between islands around the world, and especially Kahootopia Islands. And now we see all of you who answered correctly. So normally we have a scoreboard in our classic Kahoot mode, but now with this accuracy mode, everyone who answers correctly are featured or shown in this image. So it's not ranking anymore the participants, it's just showing all the ones who got their answer right. And we have a lot of right answers here. So yeah, if you have an Kahootopia island, or if you're planning to create one, I really encourage you to join also the Kahootopia leagues for competing other islands in Kahootopia. Next question. This is a multi-select question, so there is more than one correct answer. And what are the exclusive rewards for teacher appreciation? So what are the rewards that we are actually trying to get right now? Options are accuracy seeker, hello, hola, bonjour, making history, and thank you. And these different rewards are gotten from different occasions. For example, if playing a Kahoot about foreign languages, this hello, hola, bonjour reward is granted. Yes, and we got more than 200 correct answers for both of these. So accuracy seeker and thank you are the rewards, especially for teacher appreciation. And yet again, we see all the persons, all of you who answered correctly in this question. So next question, this is also a multi-select, and the question is, what is accuracy mode good for? Is it good for encouraging thoughtful and correct answers? Is it good for encouraging fast answers only? Is it good for prioritizing accuracy over speed? Or is it good for reducing anxiety, especially in diverse and neurodivergent learners? And I see answers coming in. So there is probably more than one correct answer. And yeah, again, most of you got it right. So this is especially for encouraging thoughtful and correct answers, accuracy over speed, and also for reducing anxiety among learners. Excellent. So many correct answers. And we have 152 participants that have reached already 3 correct answers on a row. So, as I mentioned about the accuracy mode, take your time, think carefully, and aim for precision to reach the podium. So correct answer is only what matters. No bonus for answering fast, no scoreboard as you have seen, and all users who got the question correct gets highlighted. And then 2 questions to go. This is true or false. All different question types are supported in accuracy mode, true or false. Let's see if you got this one right. We have quite many different question types, and the question is, are all of those supported in the accuracy mode? And what I also mentioned, accuracy mode is free for all users. And yes, you are right, it is true. All the question types are supported here. And about question types, this is the last question. It's our slider question types. And the question is, how many different question types do we have? So this is a bit tricky. There's only one correct answer, and it's something between 6 and 16. With this slider question type, you can slide to the answer you think is the correct one, and then press submit after you have chosen. So let's see. We have all the different answer options are having some answers, and 14 is currently the correct answer. So 29 of you got this right. Excellent. So this was our last question, and now let's see the podium. So we have many persons in the bronze medal, and you are now seeing all the different players who are in the silver place, and then finally in the gold. And yeah, I can see many thanks stickers also in your characters. So excellent. And because we played this Kahoot from our Kahootopia island, now it shows all of you in the same group celebrating this achievement that we just got. And let's see what rewards we got. So we got the correct answers, more than 50%. Excellent. And then some of my buildings are evolving, and the new achievement, accuracy seeker. Yes, we all achieved this by playing this accuracy mode together. And also I can check now this Kahoot leagues. Oh, it seems that we have reached the gold league now. We got enough points to get from silver to gold league. So thank you all for making this happen. And now I'm going to hand over back to Alex.
Thank you so much, Pekka. That was brilliant. For those of you who've never played Kahootopia before, I definitely recommend giving it a go. You can launch any Kahoot and you can see your island grow. So thank you so much, Pekka. Accuracy mode, also a good one to try if you've got learners with different needs and you think that the pressure of being fast is what's putting them off and actually demotivating them, then play a Kahoot in accuracy mode instead of classic mode. But classic mode is still there if they like the competitive element. Okay, so moving on, we've now got two speakers. They are from the same university. The university is called Stadio and it's based in South Africa. So Simone is the program coordinator for the Bachelor of Commerce and is also the subject coordinator for the technical team within the School of Commerce at Stadio. And Kurt, meanwhile, as well as being a Kahoot ambassador, is a chartered accountant and currently serves as acting academic manager and program coordinator for the Bachelors of Commerce in Accounting. So over to you guys. I believe Kurt is going to go first, followed by Simone. So welcome to the podium. Lovely. We can see
Right,
it's
wonderful. Just let me know if you guys can see and hear me, Alex.
yes, it's perfect.
Brilliant, brilliant.
Welcome.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for having us. Simone and I are extremely excited to share some insights into how we've used, obviously, the Kahoot EdTech tool to enhance the learning engagement in the commerce space at Stadio across our campuses at a national level. So we'll be talking a little bit more about how we've done that. The first thing I'm going to speak about is the concepts that we've used in terms of our AI modes. So we've obviously trialed in this Kahoot period this pilot in terms of AI, gamification, and accountancy. So integrating some very nice topics that are currently coming together. So I hope that you will enjoy this presentation. Okay, Alex, I'm just struggling to share to the next slide for some reason.
Have you tried clicking on the screen?
Yeah, it seems to be pausing.
Okay, and what about if you press the arrow?
Yeah, I've pressed that as well. Let's quickly try again. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing and start sharing again.
If not, I'll share my screen, it's no problem.
Yeah, let's quickly show that. Okay. There we go. AI, gamification, and accountancy. So once again, like Alex mentioned, so my name is Kurt Neiker. I am a chartered accountant. I'm also a capital markets and securities analyst, a business intelligence and data analyst, and a financial planning and wealth management specialist. I act as the academic manager here at the Stadio Waterfall campus for the School of Commerce. I'm also the program coordinator for the BCom in Accounting degree that we provide. I'm also the module coordinator across accounting nationally, and as well as the financial accounting lecturer. So I am based in Johannesburg, South Africa, at the Waterfall campus, just to give you a quick intro. So I used a little diagram to show you that, when we look at the world of AI and how it's revolutionized commerce education, we remind ourselves that AI is a tool that is also learning from us. So here in this little picture, what I tried to depict is an AI robot actually learning the IFRS principles of accounting, which are the fundamentals that we use when we deliver the content to students at an academic level for the BCom in accounting degree. So this is one of the core principles in which we base our theory on. So here's the AI robotic learning a little bit of IFRS. So from my side, and in terms of my presentation, I'll be talking through some of the innovative learning strategies that we've utilized within the classroom. And what's very important to note is that at Stadio, we also offer contact learning as well as distance learning offerings in terms of the courses and the material that we deliver. So the blended teaching approach that we offer in our contact space has allowed us to use both synchronous and asynchronous learning. And I think this is particularly important where you want to provide content to students within the classroom, but you also want to gauge in terms of the student dynamic. Do students actually understand the fundamental concepts that have been provided? And how are you able to gauge that instantaneous feedback? And then obviously provide remedial measures to improve student performance in terms of engagement as well as knowledge retention. So that's a key insight that I found that Kahoot has helped me with personally within my classes. So where I do not have sufficient time to cover all of the content in class, I would obviously use questions and play a game. And then where I can see areas where students are struggling, I'm able then to self-assign Kahoots for students to do as part of homework, as part of remedial activities, to ensure that they are up to par with the fundamental concepts before we move forward with more complex topics within the subject matter. So I think that's critical. The self-paced learning modules have also allowed us to develop with our students with particularly self-paced assessments that can be provided over a specific timeline. So when you've got a new topic that you want to cover in class and you're not sure how students are going to manage it, why not use the self-paced learning mode where you can assign a topic to students, provide them with a week to do it, and then after that week, you can obviously provide feedback in terms of students, and then look at remedial actions that you can actually perform where you can make sure that students are on par. Now, I know sometimes it's difficult for students when they receive feedback towards the end of a course or the end of the semester. So the idea behind using these particular type of Kahoot tools is to provide students with the real-time feedback in order to make sure that they can execute the relevant remedial strategies in time to be ready and for that examination as it draws nearer. The gamification element in accounting education has really transformed the way students approach the subject matter. Now, I know a lot of you might think that accounting is all about the numbers and it's all about how to balance the books, and that might be one of the core principles of it, but there is a lot of theory underpinning the concepts in which accounting needs to take place and what happens at the back end. And the gamification element allows students to foster that competitive environment, engage with the material. It also allows them to, in my particular class, I offer my students prizes in terms of a leaderboard. And I also offer them the opportunity, to engage with other students and also develop social and communication skills within the technical aspect. So sort of killing two birds with one stone at the same time. So the gamification element really draws in the attention of the students and allows them to engage in a much more competitive environment and really bringing them back into the classroom. So you've got 100% of their attention. Like I mentioned, the enhanced group communication is, I think, really a big win for us in accountancy. I mean, we've tried many different methods to foster engagement within the classroom, be it in the online synchronous learning live sessions or even in the contact learning space in the classroom. So being able to offer students a variety of different learning tools and different question types, which I'll cover a little bit later in this presentation, allows you as the lecturer to be able to identify what works best in your particular classroom. So I've used the Kahoot quizzes for some of my questions. As you can see, I've also used the Kahoot true or false questions, and these are particularly easy to draw up. And what's nice about the Kahoot AI tool is that when you punch in or you draw out a specific topic, For example, if you wanted to look at depreciation or the bank reconciliation, the Kahoot AI feature will create questions for you. And all you need to do as the instructor is review those questions and then select the ones that are appropriate for the level of content that you are providing to your students in terms of coverage and in terms of the level of depth. Of course, at a higher education level, it will be pitched at a little bit more of complexity in terms of what we would ask the students to do. I've also used the Kahoot NPS and scales function in my accountancy classes, and I found that this works absolutely brilliantly. Actually allows me to gauge where my students are, also anonymously. So you can ask students to sign into a Kahoot, put a preferred nickname in. They don't have to come in with their email address and their full name and surname as per the registers. And what this actually allows the student is freedom. They have the freedom to answer the questions. They don't fear being outed for getting something incorrect. And the students are actually taking the opportunity to try and do their best in terms of attempting the questions. And that's what we're here to do as instructors. We're here to provide students with the pathway and help them on their journey to ensure that they're actually successful through the course. I've also used the NPS or the Net Promoter Score to basically assess the likelihood of certain students preferring a certain type of method. One of the questions I asked in my particular class in our introductory accounting session was how likely were students to do some further reading in terms of the particularly CASA pathway. And I was able to gauge in terms of how students were able to approach this particular question, what resources they wanted to use to engage with further, and how that would help them on their journey. So just to wrap up on some of the key fundamental principles that I've described. So assessing the topic comprehension is absolutely critical when you're covering subject matter. You want to make sure that you gauge where students are, you understand the topic, the fundamentals are being taught, and the foundation is solid before you move on to the more complex questions. The measuring tool of satisfaction has also been critical. Like I said, the Net Promoter Score also allows you to see the level of comfort that your students might be at a particular concept. And obviously, if you can see that the bulk of your students are uncomfortable, you as the lecturer are able to then reiterate those fundamentals in order for you to move forward. The key is timing, and that's absolutely important. When we identify instructional gaps during a particular class or a particular delivery, we need to remember that we need to address the matters in time so that the students have adequate time to perform remedial work and then ultimately be successful in the examinations. The enhancing student engagement and improving knowledge retention is always at the core of what we're trying to deliver. We want to make sure that students are able to participate in class and are able to gauge with the material. They must engage with the material in order for them to be successful. And these tools offer you that. Informing teaching strategies is also excellent. I also ask my students what works, what doesn't work. You'll find that in your class, not all of your learners might be visual learners. Some of your learners might need you to create fictitious scenarios or create stories. And because all of the learners learn differently, you've got to be able to understand and map that out in terms of your classroom and provide a mixture or an array of comprehensive questions that address different learning styles. And this will influence the teaching strategies that you'll use to convey the subject matter within the classroom. And lastly, promoting continuous improvement is also critical to make sure that we're able to track the progress of our students as we obviously provide the different and the diverse question types in order to make sure that they are successful in passing through the course. So this is one of the word clouds that I've also used, and I've used this to engage with my students for particular topics. So I'm going to show you one where I asked students what depreciation was, and we used a word cloud for where students could type in their little responses. And the nice thing is that it highlights where the most responses come from in terms of the size that it depicts, and it shows you what students actually understand from that particular concept. And you can do this once again, like I said, to gauge with the feedback and understand where your students are at. So the future of commerce is constantly changing. We are undergoing this rapid change in advancement in terms of big data, the Internet of Things, welcoming the 5IR. And we want to make sure that our students are future fit and ready to enter the world of work. And that is why we are moving away from the traditional strategies of learning. And we are making sure that we provide students with adequate exposure to artificial intelligence tools, as well as making sure that the EdTech that we use in the classroom remains relevant and influences the curriculum that we provide. Because I think what the students really want now is to be able to enter the workplace and not just be able to execute tasks, but to actually thrive in the environment. So we at Stadio are shifting that focus to the digital fluency and allowing students that opportunity to adapt to this transformative world of rapid digital transformation and welcoming artificial intelligence to provide us with personalized, meaningful experiences that will actually influence and shape students as they become the future leaders of tomorrow. The gamification pilot project that we've started at Stadio has been piloted throughout the technical modules, and this has provided students with the opportunity to engage with material in different learning platforms and different learning styles. And like I said before, because all of our students are different, these adaptive learning strategies that can be offered really boost student engagement. And the feedback that we've had from students has been tremendously and positively overwhelming for us as the lecturers. And they absolutely cannot wait to play the Kahoot when we start the class. So that's been absolutely brilliant, and it's influenced the students' marks as well. Simone and myself are busy writing a paper on how AI and gamification have actually revolutionized commerce education. And we are so excited to tell you more about that. But that's enough from me. I'm going to hand over to my colleague, Simone, who will be talking to integrating AI for better learning. Over to you, Simone.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Simone. I work alongside Kurt, and I'm just going to share the presentation with you shortly. Okay, so I will continue. We are now addressing the integration that we've had of the AI tool and for better learning and how we have achieved this. So firstly, by using the Kahoot, we were able to personalize the student's experience. So with that being said, we're able to track the student's performance in real time and see how they're doing in particular questions relating to the certain accounting concepts along their journey. We can see which questions they're performing best in. We can also see the areas in which students are struggling. This helps us identify the gaps in the learning. And by doing that gap identification, we can create target teaching strategies to support students in order to perform at their fullest and best potential. We definitely have seen very positive feedback from the responses of students. It's helped them engage and get us responses to be able to support them going forward. So the AI-driven assessments also improve their comprehension and understanding, especially of those very challenging accounting concepts and questions that they've been doing along the way. And students also get immediate feedback. And I think this is one of the greatest advantages we have seen by using the Kahoot tool, whether they're doing it on their own, independent, like Kurt mentioned, we are doing it predominantly in asynchronous activities from the comfort of their home or whenever they wish to engage with the tool. So they can see immediately and engage in real time. And this really helps them in order to get that feedback when they need it the most. So that's been very great for us to encourage this deeper engagement with the course content. So overall, it has improved the experience to give better learning for students. It's helped us identify all the gaps of learning and make our teaching tailored to help support them in all the areas they need most. Then just to continue preparing for the fifth industrial revolution. As we know, the world is changing. We're moving more into the fifth industrial revolution, which emphasizes the integration of technology with human intelligence, and it creates a more sustainable, human-centric world in which they need to account for this. And by thinking about accounting and the way it's changed, predominantly in accounting, we would use a lot of daily tasks that happen, and we'd have to record a lot of financial information and report on that information. And there was a large amount of repetitive tasks that take place in accounting reporting. However, as we now move on into this world of using AI tools, we know that we can use this to do those repetitive tasks for us. And this enables us to become more specialized in the accounting field and become strategic advisors. So we can teach our students how to use their strategic thinking skills to do financial analyst type of work on the specific accounting tools and go more into detail about risk assessments and really understanding it. So with that being said, this curriculum at Stadio Higher Education, by using these tools, helps to build on the analytical and digital skills. By exposing them to something such as Kahoot, it allows them to get familiar with how to work with technology in a fun and creative way. It also allows them the opportunity to play around with it in a gamification type of approach, instead of the normal traditional accounting style that many of us in the commerce world have been exposed to. And in the field of accounting and higher education, we must be able to anticipate the future needs of the industry. With that being said, by considering the future, we need to prepare students how to use these digital tools. And now we're able to do that. So it's become very exciting to use it and make it more fun for students and engaging, and to also increase their level of critical thinking skills to prepare them for the world of work beyond just what we're doing in the classroom, which really equips them with the tools they need. At Stadio, we also have recently developed an innovation committee on the Waterfall campus with Kurt in Johannesburg. And what this committee is striving to achieve, it's definitely still in its infant phase, but it's to really foster a culture of using the technology and build upon it so that we can create a better future for everyone else and really drive these initiatives within our school. So we're definitely considering the way the world is going. We're considering it in our curriculum. So we consider how students use AI in higher education. I think it's very true that even if you don't want students to use AI, they definitely are. So we have to redesign curriculums, think of how students would use all the lovely tools out there, and make sure that we are ultimately preparing them on a world beyond them. So with that being said, we have to consider how they would ask questions and answer them. And we also need to redefine how we approach structuring our own curriculum to consider AI, the use of AI, incorporate marks and how it should be used responsibly. So instead of running away from AI, we welcome the use of AI and we try to incorporate it into our daily lives by using these tools and preparing them in a responsible manner. And the road ahead. The profession must embrace AI or it will ultimately become obsolete. So with that being said, like we incorporate it into our daily lives, institutions should lead, not follow the industry's changes. So what we do is we think about it, we incorporate it, we adjust everything we do to try and create our own structures as to how to not just be followers, but be leaders in it. I haven't seen many institutions do this. We could be corrected, and I'm excited to have so many people from across the world here. I'd love to hear what you are doing with AI in any of your institutions. As students, we must all be adaptable for lifelong learners, which even though I might be in a higher ed institution, I'm still a lifelong learner, and there's so much that we can learn in this field. Technology is a partner in learning and not a threat. So we try to embrace it every single day, see how we can utilize it effectively. And one of our flagship programs, the BCom Accounting, has definitely become program leaders in this transformation alongside with the general BCom, which we are very excited to include all these tools that Curtis showed earlier, what we're doing in the classroom on a day-to-day basis with the activities of the students and the MPA scale and all those tasks. And I want to leave you with one question and thought. The question ultimately remains, are we ready for the future ahead with all of this in front of us and everything that's happening in the world right now? We're definitely trying as an institution, we're trying to embrace it, we're trying to encourage the use of it and ultimately prepare students for what is out there. But are we ready? Thank you so much for listening. And here's just a bit of information about who I am, if anyone would like to know. I'm Simone from Stadio Higher Education. I'm the subject coordinator and I lead the technical team. I'm also a program coordinator and a module coordinator, and I'm currently based in the Bellville campus, situated in Cape Town, South Africa.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Simone, and thank you to Kurt. That was brilliant. It was really interesting to hear about gamification. I think some people have the interpretation that gamification is something we do with younger kids or something we only do on a Friday afternoon, when in fact, it's a whole teaching strategy that we can use for people of all ages. So obviously you use the example of using it with adult students teaching accounting, both in the lecture hall and out. And Simone just mentioned about incorporating AI into things. So with our next speaker, we will be talking about AI. Simone, do you mind stopping sharing your screen for a second? That would be fantastic. So our next speaker is a Kahoot ambassador who is based in Singapore. Liang is the founder of Kids Learn Code and teaches 7 to 12-year-olds. So this is a youth-led initiative, entirely ground up and non-profit, and it has the aim to engage and ignite kids' passion for coding in this whole evolving world. And in Kids Learn Code, he teaches computational thinking, coding, as well as other 21st century skills. So I will pop the link into the chat about Kids Learn Code so you can find out more. But over to you, Liang.
Thanks. A very good evening or good morning or good afternoon to all educators here. So yeah, let me just share my screen. So today I hope to actually, as the last speaker, I hope to be an engaging session and interactive session where, you know, we can actually have quizzes and interactive sessions. So yeah, so I'll actually be hosting my actually whole presentation on Kahoot. So I'll actually be sharing slides as well as posts on here. So yeah, I appreciate if we can take a minute to join this Kahoot before I actually begin in maybe around 1 or 2 minutes time. Thank you. Alex, just to check, you can see my screen, right?
Yeah, we can see it. All looks great.
All right. All right, so probably maybe around another minute and before we begin. So let's just wait for some of the rest to actually join the Kahoot. Okay, so yeah, maybe I'll begin then. If you are actually still joining, then maybe you can just join along the way. Then yeah, we can actually start. All right, so yeah, welcome, and I'm Liang T. So I think before I begin, I would like to share a bit more about myself so that actually all of you get to know me better. So for me, right, I'm actually the founder of Kids Learn Code. So I actually founded this back in 2022. So that's around 3 years ago. And in Kids Learn Code, what I actually do is I teach computer science as well as coding. So as what Alex mentioned earlier, I teach things like computational thinking, as well as we try to incorporate 21st century skills in our lessons. So one way that we use to make lessons engaging is, of course, through adding Kahoots as well as quizzes in our lessons to actually engage the students. So I'm actually passionate about AI, classroom engagement tools, and photography, which is one key reason why I actually was very excited when Kahoot actually launched the suite of AI tools. So you can see here is a photo. So actually we use Kahoot really regularly in our lessons. So this is actually one of the photos of Kahoot being used in one of our recent actually workshops in the March holidays. So yeah, here's the agenda for today. So I think I'll go through how to use AI features as well as I think some use cases. So I think it's good to actually step through what are some things that educators can do with Kahoot AI, as well as maybe the students even can do with Kahoot AI, as well as a summary quiz just to make sure that everyone actually took away something from today's course. Yeah, so before I begin, right, I would like to find out more about you, actually, the educators here. So maybe you can just share with me what subject do you actually teach in your school? All right, good to see everyone warmed up. So actually we can see a lot of answers here. Sorry, I think I just actually struck off one. So yeah, we have people teaching computer science, math, music, mathematics, and other subjects. Thanks all for sharing. All right, so my next question, right, is because I actually want to see how I can tailor this session more. So how familiar are all of you with Kahoot AI? So are you very familiar with it? Maybe you have used it many times in your lessons, or have you never used it before and you are curious on actually how we can actually use it better? All right, thanks for all the answers. So yeah, let's take a look at the answers. So you can see that, yeah, many of you actually never used it, or yeah, and a few of you are actually quite familiar with it. So that's a good thing. So I hope that for the 50% of you who actually never used it before, I hope that my sharing can actually inspire you, and then maybe you actually can use Kahoot AI in your future lessons. So one last thing, so I'll actually be going through 3 parts as mentioned. So what would you like to be the main focus of today's session? Okay, thanks for sharing. So I think many of you actually want to learn about how to use Kahoot AI, followed by use cases of Kahoot AI, as well as I'll touch briefly on what Kahoot AI is. So yeah, before I go through, right, so if you actually enter your main Kahoot, when you actually create a Kahoot screen, you actually see this, and you can actually see that there's a PDF to Kahoot as well as a Kahoot generator button over here, as you can see. So I'll just go through briefly what Kahoot AI is. So Kahoot AI was actually created by Kahoot and was introduced as part of their suite of learning tools in June 2023, if I remember correctly. So how it actually works is that there are 2 ways. So one is through a Kahoot generator where you actually enter a topic topic, a link, or let's say a Wikipedia article that you actually want your students to actually learn. Or the second one is actually using a PDF to Kahoot method. So I think I'll actually start off by talking about how you can actually use the typing method. So the first one is example. I'm just putting myself in a perspective of, let's say, a physics teacher, and I actually want to teach my class on Newton's laws of motion, for example. So what I can do is that I can, once after I click the button, I can actually enter the topic I'm actually interested to do, and I can click the generate button. So the cool thing about Kahoot AI, right, is that you can customize at the side here, as you can see. So there are different languages, skill levels, as well as tone of voice that you can actually customize to fit the need of your class. So for example, I think many of you also asked whether there are different languages, right? So the language feature there also allows you to customize the language of your questions. So as you can see, so once I actually click the generate button, there will be a lot of questions that actually come up. So now I can actually look through the list of questions and choose which one are actually accurate and which one I actually would like to add into my Kahoot for the students to use. So you can see there's different types of questions. So over here, you can see a quiz question where there's actually 4 options, or there's even true or false questions that students can use that they can use in their lessons to reinforce their concepts. So in addition to actually typing it in, right, another way that we can do it is also through the Kahoot generator, which is based on a document that you actually upload, which you can actually use different things. So for example, for myself, right, since in Kids Learn Code, we actually have a lot of documents and things like that. So what I actually did before, and we actually do, I can show you an example later, was that we actually took one of our study notes. So it's notes for the students to actually refer to after the lesson. And what we did was we actually uploaded it into the Kahoot software, as you've seen here. So it's a PDF file. So once we actually upload it, right, you can actually see a suite of questions. So for example, this is what happened after I uploaded a sample Python document inside here. And you can see that there are a list and a variety of questions, such as they have the type answer, you have a slider question, you even a slide, as well as a quiz function. So you do not need to worry about your questions being mundane because there's only one type of question type. So you can see that there's actually a list and a lot of different question types that you can do it. So now you may be wondering, right, now that I talked all about Kahoot AI features, so what can be some use cases of it? So I actually have 3 here that I thought on the back of my mind that I would like to share with all of you. So I think for actually the use cases, the first one, I think it can be in the computer science where, let's say I want to create simple quizzes. So what I can do is that I can actually feed in my own worksheets or slides to the upload file feature. And once I actually upload it in, it will look through your notes and your slides, and it will actually generate questions that you can use. And it will be good to actually type some description about the class so that you can actually customize it roughly. And then this, for me myself, I actually used to take 40 minutes to make a Kahoot because I need to add the images and things like that. Whereas with Kahoot AI, it actually significantly lowered the time, and right now I only need around 5 to 10 minutes to actually use this. So in addition, another way is that you can use it in a quick icebreaker sort of way. So for example, if let's say you have a meeting coming up with the rest of your educators or maybe with your students, and you actually want a way to break the ice because the atmosphere is a bit tense, you can actually create a quick icebreakers with Kahoot. So fun fact, actually, for this icebreakers here, I actually took less than 2 minutes to create it. So I just typed in a prompt that, hey, maybe you can create some icebreakers. You can add some key factors you want the AI to consider. Maybe it's for students or it's for my colleagues, my educators, and it will actually create a list of icebreakers for you to actually use it, which I think is actually really useful, especially if your time is actually really rushed. And the last way I actually think is actually useful is that if in case you actually have students who are interested to say, hey, now that I have my revision materials, how can I actually revise for my exams better? So this is one way. So actually I have been also using this in my school. So if you want students to actually be self-directed in their learning, you can actually upload your study notes or enter the topic tested. And what it does is that actually generates a list of questions. So it's the last revision mode for students. So after they look through all their materials and, you know, one day before the test or a few hours before the test, they will actually want to reinforce their concepts, maybe check out some challenging questions. They can actually use this to actually make sure that they got all the concepts correct in it, like rather than looking through their whole study notes, which may be actually quite time consuming. So I think many of you may also have concerns when I actually first use Kahoot AI. There's as many AI tools, right? I think many teachers will worry, especially if you teach kids from 7 to 12, because I think it's more sensitive in the area. So what about my students' data? Will it actually be protected? So do not to worry, Kahoot actually prioritizes data privacy and security. And just to note that no personal data is actually being used for AI algorithms. So this way is actually safe for the students as well as the teachers using it. As well as I would like to raise one point, because sometimes AI, right? AI, although it's really good, it's really powerful, but I think it has some it may have some inaccuracy, some there. So I think not all information provided is correct, or it may not be relevant to your syllabus. So it's good to actually look through it and check through it and make some minor edits before you actually use it in class. So I hope this presentation and sharing has been useful. And before I actually end off, I'd like a quick summary quiz to actually just see whether you actually picked up the concepts that I mentioned today. So let's start off with the first question. So it's a true false question. So is it true that more than one type of question can be created using? Okay, good. So most of you got it correct. So it's true that more than one type of question can be created, be it quiz, true, false, or things like that. All right, so let's take a look at the leaderboard and let's move on. The second question, what does Kahoot AI help to create? Okay, let's take a look at the answers. Yeah. So not only does Kahoot AI actually can help create some slides and things like that, it can also actually create games and quizzes. So I don't think Kahoot actually, okay, the surveys wise, there's actually polls and things like that. So, but it's not only surveys, you can create a variety of actually question types and materials. All right. Let's move on. So the next question here is, what file format can you actually upload for the Kahoot AI? Okay, so yeah, it's a PDF. So if you have any other file formats, like maybe you have a Word or PowerPoint, just feel free to just convert it before you upload it, so it's easier. All right, I think I have 3 more questions. So what should you do before using the AI generated Kahoots? Yeah, okay, so please do remember to edit and check, because you don't want your students to actually get wrong content or maybe irrelevant content and then they actually end up getting confused. All right, so moving on. So Kahoot's AI features are safe to use and all data is protected. Is this true or false? Yes, so it's true. So actually all the data is actually protected and is safe to use. So thank you all for your attention today, and it was really great to actually share with you more about Kahoot. And I wish you all the best in actually engaging your students in lessons, especially with using the new Kahoot AI features. And yeah, if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, there's my link, and you can feel free to share with me more. And thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much, Liang. That was incredible. For those of you who don't know, he's one of our very youngest ambassadors, and while still at high school, is incredible and is able to do a webinar for 750 people. So that's amazing, as well as starting your own nonprofit initiative for teaching kids coding. So I'm very impressed. Thank you ever so much. And yes, that wraps up our webinar. So I'm going to post a link in the chat. This is for those of you who have X, formerly known as Twitter. You can share that you've attended the webinar. Please, once you get the link, we'll send you the link to the recording and the certificate. You'll probably get it tomorrow. And yeah, please tell your friends and colleagues about it. It's always great to share the love about Kahoot. So yes, thank you ever so much for everyone who attended, especially everyone on stage. So from Pekka to Kurt, Simone and Liang, that's brilliant. And thanks very much to Mana and Lavinia for answering all the questions in the chat. All right, so that was the last of our teacher talks for this academic cycle. However, there will be an EDU summit next month on the 3rd of June. That will be a different time zone. This one was more focused on the kind of Asia, Australia kind of time zones. It will probably be a different one. However, look out on our webpage, kahoot.com/webinars, as we will always have new webinars coming up at different time zones. All right, that's all there is from me. Sorry we overran a little bit, but thank you very much. Goodbye.